I just want to say my name is Chris Blow, and I am the creator and founder and executive director of the Hip Hop Alliance. And we are out there on a mission trying to secure and protect fair wages and fair royalties and strong health and retirement benefits for all of the hip hop and R&B ecosystem. All right, it's a God-centered company. Yes. And so it's hiphopalliance.org. Join us. It's free, all right? And I'll hook you up. And these are the breaks. Bring it up, bring it up, bring it up.
Hey, it's truly Kendra here. We're so live all over the world. www.bronxnet.org. Tell a friend to tell another friend. As a matter of fact, I am celebrating my 22nd anniversary. I am truly grateful. Thank you for always following every endeavor that I take over the past 22 years. And today we have a very special show, and I just feel like coming back. This is my second show coming back for the new year. This inception of Crossover TV, radio, and magazine that happened in the first year, which I call Trimedia, I thought would be so amazing, so that we can bridge the cultural gap around the world and become global. And it's just a blessing tonight to have my guests in this building from RAPP, everybody. So I just want to wave out and say thank you all for tuning in, locking your dials. But we have some major heavy hitters in the building. So I just want to introduce you to Jose Hamza Saldana. And he is the executive director of RAPP. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
I just want to shake your hand. All right. Thank you for what you're doing. And then I want to say that it's a pleasure to introduce Stanley Bellamy, and he is also with RAPP, and he is the New York City Regional Community Organizer. And welcome to Crossover TV, sir. Can I shake your hand?
Thank you.
And while we're shaking hands right now, you know, I think in this community, you know, the judgeful eye, the watchful eye, we can't deal with this person because this person done did this. No. So we're in a good space, and we're doing some amazing things. And I just wanted people to know that I am super, super proud of what RAPP is doing at this current moment. Mm-hmm. So I want Jose to do me a favor and just let everybody know, what does the acronyms of RAPP mean?
RAPP means Release Aging People in Prison. And aging means that everyone in New York State prison, any prison really across the country, you stay there long enough, you're going to be aging.
Mm-hmm. You serve your time?
That's right.
Serve your time?
Not all of it.
Most of it?
Most of it.
Most of it. And through a lot of the help of RAPP, you were able to come home earlier, right?
A lot earlier, 25 years earlier.
Okay, and you guys were actually together at one point serving time?
Yes.
Okay, and what was that like? Because I know we spoke about Attica earlier, that, you know, you never went to Attica.
Oh, yes, I did.
You did?
Of course.
Oh, so you didn't tell me that part.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so I was talking to them before we started, and so, but you were there at different times, correct?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, but you were at Sullivan together.
Yes.
Okay, and that's the bond, the friendship that came along. And who left prison first?
He went home first.
He went home first.
2018. I followed him in 2023.
Okay, because he said he was coming back for you, right?
Yes, he came back to get me. You know.
Okay.
And I like to tease him. I like to say that while we was on the inside, I was the boss. Now he's on the outside. He's my boss.
Oh, see it, that boss term. You see this?
It was just a joke.
But you were so like blessed to like know him, right?
Yes.
Are you college degrees?
Yes.
Yes.
Both.
I have associates and a bachelor's.
And a bachelor's.
I have associates.
And okay. And all things are possible, and that's the one message that I want people to know, that all things are possible. And once again, it's a blessing having you both come up.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about RAPP.
RAPP started out, and it was founded by 3 formerly incarcerated people. Mujahid Fareed, a black man, Muslim, and Laura Whitehorn and Kathy Boudin, 2 white women from the leftist movement of the 60s and 70s. And the mission that RAPP accepted was to end mass incarceration. RAPP sought to ending mass incarceration through the release of aging people in prison and those serving long-term prison sentences. This is at a time where Drop the Rock movement was out. There was nonviolent reform for people convicted of nonviolent offenses, but those convicted of violent offenses were left behind. So RAPP sought to address that injustice of people first getting sentenced for long, long periods of time, unjustly, and then at the back end, the parole board being complicit in enforcing the policies of mass incarceration by perpetually denying parole. In between, we were just getting older, sick, and sadly dying at a relatively age of 58 years old.
Wow. Okay, so when you say that, getting sick, what was going around at that time that you feel it was a...
During the 80s, it's the HIV/AIDS pandemic. Then you had the tuberculosis epidemic. You had the hepatitis C. And on top of that, you had inadequate health care.
Food was...
Food. Well, they went from... They used to have farms where food was cooked, came from cows. You actually ate meat. When they went to processing food, it just putting stuff in a bag, heating it up, and serving it to the population. It has all type of chemicals in the food, and I just basically stopped eating a lot of it. So I lost a lot of weight in there.
The food, not only food, but then when you do get sick, you have inadequate health care. I mean, the doctors are veterinarians.
Yeah, horse doctors.
Oh my God. Whoa.
Horse doctors.
Whoa. No, you shocked me with that one.
That's an established fact. Research has proved that most of the doctors can't work no place else but a prison.
But a prison. Yeah, that's a lot. That's different. That's shocking to me. Now I know there are 2 bills that you're working on. So RAPP is doing something huge. You guys are headed to Albany.
Yes.
And tell me when.
Next Tuesday, January 28th, we will be up in Albany, pushing for our 2 bills. And I'll talk about the second one. You can talk about the first. I'll talk about the first one. You talk about the first one is the elder bill, which says that anybody 55 and older who've been in prison 15 or more years should be given the opportunity to go to their immediate parole board. It doesn't say that they automatically going to get released. It just gives them the opportunity to present their case before a parole board, and hopefully they will get released. Because the average person that's 55 and older now came to prison when they was in their late teens and early 20s. So they way past the 15-year threshold.
Right.
So they got 30, some of them got 40 years in already. They passed 55, some of them 60, 70 years old. And they still have time to do, and they should be given the opportunity to go to parole board, because it doesn't make no sense keeping them, like Hamza said earlier, perpetual punishment. Just sitting in there, languishing in prison when they could be back in the community. Why they have an opportunity to actually make a difference out in the community, instead of waiting until they're so old and they can't do anything, and then you release them when they can do nothing for the community.
Okay. And when you say something for the community, so when they go up for parole at this point, they have changed their lives. They have gone to college. They have, you said, develop a program or have done something.
If you look right now in the community and on the front line of a lot of what we call credible messengers, violent interrupters, these are formerly incarcerated people who had did real time, and they now back in the community talking to the youth, trying to stop the violence, trying to stop them from getting and making the same mistakes that we made and going to the place where we came from. They out there in the community, and if you look, you see that they did time. And that's what they can offer, because it's giving them an opportunity to give back. And as we say, allow these individuals to come home as assets instead of liabilities. And that's what we come home as, assets to the community.
I love it. I love what you're doing. And the second bill?
Fair and timely parole bill. The fair and
Say
timely,
that one more time. I'm sorry.
The fair and timely parole bill. It offers a fair and timely opportunity for people to return back to their families. When a person is sentenced to 15 years to life, at that 15-year mark, he's eligible for release. the fair and timely parole bill would almost make it a presumption that the person will be released at that mark of a sentence. One of the founders of RAPP, Mujahid Fareed, was sentenced to 15 years to life. In them 15 years, he acquired 4 college degrees, which included 2 masters, and he created programs that saved lives in the prison system. When he appeared before the parole board, they didn't give these programs or his college degrees any credibility. They just dismissed it like that they didn't exist, and denied him parole 9 consecutive times, adding 18 years to that 15. The fair and timely parole bill will stop that from happening. People are dying in between parole hearings. It will stop that from happening and give people a meaningful, fair opportunity to be released at a time when they can be productive, like Jamel said, instead of releasing them when they're in their 70s.
And can I add one other thing to him? And that the most important thing about that bill itself, it says that the parole board must or should judge the individual and the person that person is now, not opposed to who that person was 15, 20, 30, 40 years ago. You know, because basically they deny people parole based on the nature of the crime, which will never change. And we say that will never change, but the individual can. So if the individual is not a current risk, there's no chance that this individual is going to come back to prison or commit another crime. Then don't judge him on what he did 30 years ago or she did 30 years. Judge him on who that person is now.
So we're talking about education. We're talking about programs. We're talking about no issues in jail and over that 15-year period. So those are the things that are brought into consideration. Yes. Is that what you're saying?
Even everybody's not going to get a college degree.
Yes, yeah.
Some people are just hard workers. If you release them at a time where they could just work to support their families, and the value of doing this, we all win when we do this. Release a person where they could work for 25 years for the rest of until they retire. They have Social Security, and within just 5 or 6 years, what's happened, I've seen it, I'm a part of it, we uplift our families from borderline perpetual poverty or perpetual poverty. We contribute now to the household. We contribute to the welfare of the grandchildren. And everybody wins. Families are reunited, communities are better off, and society is better off.
And can you tell me the year that RAPP was founded? When was RAPP founded? And tell me about that period and era of RAPP.
Well, he's the boss.
So okay, boss. I'm sorry, I'll go to the
RAPP
boss.
was founded in 2012.
Okay.
This is at a time when the parole board the parole board's release rate was under 10%. That means 10% of the people were being released, 90% were being denied.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter how many degrees you had. So this was a time, man, where the parole board was at its height of being punitive. When I came home, actually I was paroled because RAPP. RAPP exposed racism in the parole board with a report that the media jumped on it, and the report was actually read by the governor's office, and they realized that they had to address this. Evidence proved that their parole board was infested with racism. What he did, they appointed for 6-year terms. He didn't reappoint them as they customarily do. Instead, he appointed other commissioners from a diversified background rather than law enforcement.
So is that Cuomo? Governor
Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo. His parole boards were all law enforcement. Now, because of this report, he didn't reappoint those whose time expired, and he appointed 6 new commissioners from a diversified background. One of those 6 new commissioners with a social service background was the one who released me.
Wow.
So RAPP was instrumental in me being released from prison.
Now, can I say this? Because I know we had a nice conversation the other day, and you said normally a parole hearing is 15 minutes.
Even sometimes less.
Because it's just like no.
They already made up their mind.
It's just no. How long was yours?
When this parole officer released me, she actually questioned me about everything. Well, first of all, she asked me, what happened in 1979? What happened July the 3rd, 1979? And when she asked me that question, I said in my mind, I said, here we go again.
Uh-oh, right?
You know? So then after I told her exactly what happened. She looked at me, she said, okay, now tell me what you've been doing the last 38 years. So that discussion of me explaining to her what I've been doing for the last 38 years, it took 45 minutes.
45 minutes. And that's unheard of.
Unheard
In your
of.
mind, you're like, I don't know what's getting ready to happen right now, right?
I felt good.
You felt good about it?
I feel good about it.
Yeah. You said, I'm getting out of here?
Well, I've been disappointed too many times. But I said,
How many times did you go up against the parole board?
I was denied 4 times
4 times.
before I was finally released. Yeah.
Okay. And did you have turnaround in your life around those intervals
Well,
of the
I was
4
ready.
times?
I was ready 10 years after I'd been in prison already. You know, human beings do not need 38 years to change their life. You know, people do it in a lot less time. And she looked at my record, and now she's a friend of RAPP, and she's a friend of me. She's one of my friends, and she's a friend of RAPP. And when I came out and I had dinner with her, I asked her, I said, Carol, did you ever have any doubts? She said, none whatsoever. I said, the only thing that disturbed her, she says, the only thing that disturbed me was, why is he still in prison? And this is the same thing that was available to all the other commissioners that denied me parole.
So that's an issue. So you said, you know, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to do something about this.
That's right.
Okay. And I know you have mentors and people that really inspired you. Right?
We none of us are who we are today in a vacuum. None of us. We all say this person, that person, a combination of people in our lives, and they were elders. And sadly, a lot of these elders died in prison, never had the chance to get out.
And how do you guys talk about this? Do you get together and you talk about this often, or?
We always talk about our elders. We give homage, even though we home, we do events that honor them. Because, again, like Hamza just said, I wouldn't be the man I am today without the elders that was in there, that took me under the wings, that saw something in me that I didn't see in myself and said, listen, we're going to guide you and direct you. Just come on board. You know, and plus, I got to give myself some credit because I allowed it to happen.
Right.
You know, and so, but the credit really goes to them because they saw it and I didn't.
Right.
And had they not been there, I could have been still going left, and they finally turned me right. And like he said, it didn't take me that long. I went to jail in 1985. By 1991, I was a totally different person from that kid that went to jail in 1985. You know, and from 1991 all the way until I came home, and I should say I did have a 62 and a half years to life sentence.
Wow.
And
that's
I wound
long.
up, I wound up doing 37 and a half years out of that.
Wow.
And from 91 all the way to 2023, we created programs, developed stuff inside. You know, we did so much stuff that people ask me, list all, and I get to the point where I can't remember all the stuff we did, but we did so much because the department really wasn't doing anything. We did it for ourselves based on our mentors and that we took the initiative to do something.
And those were the elders at that time to you.
Yeah, they was on. When I got to Green Haven from Attica, I came there, I was in my 20s. I was what we call wilding.
Uh-oh.
You couldn't tell me nothing. I had a 62 years to life sentence. I was only 4 years in on my sentence already. So I'm still wilding. And they told me when I got there, they said, you're going to Black Studies, you need some type of cultural awareness. And I looked at these elders and like, who you think you're talking to telling me I'm going to Black Studies? But I think the best decision I ever made in my life was following their lead and going to Black Studies.
And tell me about Black Studies.
Well, Black Studies actually gave me my historical foundation. It opened my mind to the history of struggle. It opened my mind to a whole lot of stuff. And by being in Black Studies, other elders was watching me. to see how I was moving along in Black Studies, and they recruited me out of Black Studies into another program called the Resurrection Study Group that dealt with youth leadership, peer role models, and problem solvers. And that's what they trained us in, and how to be leaders, role models, and problem solvers. And so getting into that program changed my whole dynamics.
I'm loving it. And I think people just don't get to realize what's really happening. And you started out, one of the worst prisons, Attica, right?
Yes. And
you were young, and you had to be on survival mode for that one.
Yes, and they banned me from Attica.
Oh.
I got kicked out of Attica in 2 years.
In 2 years.
The deputy security came to my cell and said, "You got to leave my jail." And not because I was super violent. It's because they felt that I was just, I don't know how to say this in a nice way, I was very manipulative. And I was doing too much for them, basically. They said I had to go.
But do you feel like it was the environment that pushed you to be that way, or
because
coming in?
Coming in, I didn't care.
Right.
Because, I thought I was going to die in prison. I wasn't slated to see the board until 2048 when I would be 85 years old.
Wow.
So, I'm a young kid, and you can't see that time. All I said, well, I'm going to die in here, so I'm just going to do what I want to do, and nobody can tell me nothing. And so they sent me to the wildest jail, Attica.
What are you doing right now?
Well, I work for RAPP as the regional organizer.
What do you do as a regional organizer?
I do a lot. But for RAPP, I go out into the community, canvass, knock on doors, trying to get the individuals in the community to support the bills that we're pushing. We explain to them what we're doing, we explain to them how these bills will benefit them, how releasing elders back to the community would benefit them. And most people sign on because we understand that a lot of people in our community, they're about healing when you really actually have a conversation with them. Because most times they have, from law enforcement, they just lock them up, throw away the key. And they only see that as the only option. But we see it and tell them, listen, when individuals come home, they're coming home to be assets to the community, and this is how they can assist you. And also we talk about the dollars, how much it costs to keep an elder in prison as opposed to redirecting that money back to social services.
Back. Yeah. How much does it cost?
Well, for the elders, anywhere from $150,000 to almost $200-something thousand based on the health, the medical care. The average other individual somewhere around $60,000. But elders is anywhere from $150,000 to $200,000.
Release aging people in prison, RAPP.
Yes.
And this is what you do?
Trying to get, because I went in as a 23-year-old and came home 3 months shy of my 61st birthday.
Wow.
So how old was you when you went in?
I was 28, came out 66.
Wow. Yeah. And you were in Attica as well.
I was in Attica.
They didn't kick you out in 2 years?
I got kicked out. I went to Clinton, another horrible prison.
Oh, yes.
Wow. Attica to Clinton, But I want to say something that I know people really, maybe some of our listeners don't really envision this. When we talk about elders, we're talking about people who have dedicated years and decades of their lives trying to bring up kids, young adults, educate them, get them values that will help them and the families and the communities. And they do all this year after year without any rewards or compensation. Some of them know they're not ever going to get out of prison.
And they take folks like you under their wing and like you under your wing. And then you became that elder to someone else.
We became the elders.
You guys became elders to someone else. Young people coming to prison. Like you said, I may not ever get out.
Yes. Because we know individuals in there that serve sentences of life without parole. That means they will never go before a parole board. They'll never have an opportunity to make their case. And one individual, he went in at 18. And only because he was 69 days past his 17th birthday, they was allowed to give him life without parole. My question is, what is the difference between him being 17 and those 69 days where he turned 18? The mindset is still the same. There's nothing changed there.
So let's talk about conditions in prison. Let's talk about, let's say you come out at this age they want you to come out. Can we still do harm? Are we just going to be, nothing left to do that we can offer? What happens if we let's just talk about if these two bills are not passed. Let's just talk about your feeling of what life would be like if these two bills are not passed. Let's talk about that. I know
If these two bills are not passed, people will die in prison unnecessarily. Unnecessarily. People that could be an asset in our communities. If these two bills are not passed, it would impact tens of thousands of black and brown families that are already suffering perpetual family separation. Now it becomes permanent family separation. We talk about family separation on the border. Let's talk about family separation in the prison system. Because to me, the food is horrible, medical is horrible, the brutality, the oppressive conditions, all that is horrible, all that contributes to our health, our poor health. But the one thing that is worse than all of them put together is family separation.
Thank you so much for being so transparent with what you're telling everybody out there. And, you know, you guys got to know that when I pick a show like this to do, because I'm shooting back to back. So I shot last night in studio, and then I had to get these guys in because they're about to go up to Albany to do a rally. That's not a rally, but an action.
Yes.
Basically, call to action. You want some things to get done. So you want these two bills passed.
Yes.
All right. So one more time, give the date of the rally. The call to action. I'm used to rallies. I show up at rallies.
We do those too. But
I show up.
the
Chris
date of
Norwood.
the date of our advocacy day is Tuesday, January 28th, 2025. We will be up in Albany all day. Free transportation, free food. Just come up. You know, we do this. That's our big advocacy day where we're gonna go up with at least several hundred people. But throughout the rest of the year, we're gonna throughout the rest of the session, we're gonna have smaller advocacy days.
Okay.
Yeah.
You gonna invite me?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Because I'm gonna come.
You got a standing invite.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. I'll be
Yes.
there. Now I want to do this because we're gonna talk. I work for I've worked with all types of people in my lifetime, and I just want to talk about the change that, and I'm sure you mentor people. I'm
Yes.
sure RAPP does so much more than what you're talking about right now. I know that it's very important to talk about these two bills, but I'm sure RAPP does. You guys do other things, and I just want to get it out. I'm sure you mentor. I'm sure, and I like the fact that you said when we get out, we want to be a positive force in our community. We want to have the ability to help the community, and you know that's very important because you know 125th Street. You know when people are getting out, you got the orange on. People are like, "Oh, let me briskly walk," you know. So people are. The first instinct is to be afraid. But now as I sit here and I talk to you guys, I think it's very important to show where you are now. Yes, I can go back and ask you. I can say, what was your crime? What was your blah, blah, blah. I don't really choose to do it. What I choose to do is just to let people know what you want to do out here, what you've been doing out here, and what you're going to continue to do. It's very important. We have someone committing crimes right now that some of our community folks don't know what to do with them. You know, what would you do? Because we have all these kids going in the wrong direction, headed to where you guys were, young
Want me
and
to tap it over
fast.
first? I'll take it first. The one thing, and this is from us being on the inside, and that the vast majority of individuals that go to prison go based on economics. They're trying to make some money. So if we can start teaching economics, really economics in the school system to our young right now, showing them that there's other options and other ways of making that money that they want to make. Believe me, a lot of them would do that over risking their life about going to prison or getting killed in the street. Economics is first. We must teach economics. And also, we need to start getting our children civilly engaged. We need to teach them about the penal laws, the criminal procedure laws. We need to teach them about all that. And we need to teach them about being engaged in politics because they're the next generation. The same leadership skills that I learned inside, that's what we need to teach out to these youth out here. because many of them, again, are looking for something to do. They're looking for something to get involved with. And if this is the only, like, you know, and this is, I don't talk too bad about the gangs, because I realized that when we was inside, what we did to some of the gang members, the leaders, we converted them, and they went back and converted their own members. And so the same thing, the way we did it in the outside, needs to be done out here. And it needs to start while they're in elementary school.
Exactly, because they're joining gangs at, I see it already, 7, 8, 9.
Yes.
They out there on the street, like they're babies on the street. I mean, I'm 55, 1969 baby, and you know we go back a little bit, so we know. At 9 years old, I knew what I was gonna do when I was 9. Now, I told him, I said, you don't know me. You sitting down here meeting me, but you really don't know me. And the thing is that looks on the outside, we don't know people.
Yes.
We don't know the youth, you know, and we gotta get in there somehow. And whatever that way may be, I like your initiatives, your outreach, and to youth and to what you want to do. And if we could just start going in that direction, we're gonna get somewhere. Like, and I'm gonna call on you guys. You are the elders. You are now the elders. And like you said, if you can mentor inside, then you can mentor outside. And these kids, we gotta make them understand, because we don't want them to be where you guys were. And I really like what you said.
Before I pass it down, I just want to say, a lot of them look to us because too many of them, and this is sad, look to prison as a passage of rights. That this is their right into manhood, and we have to take that. We got to get rid of that. That is not your right into manhood. That is your right into captivity and stupidity. And that's what we got to drill in their mind. That is not the right to manhood.
Well, I got a group of people for you to speak to.
Oh, well, let me.
Okay. All right. So we are going to be working on some stuff. And do you want to piggyback off what he just said?
You know, without getting into any real details, all of us, no exceptions, were convicted of violent crimes. And if we can create the programs that help us transform our lives, help us discard negative thinking and behavior, and embrace life-affirming values and principles, if we can do that, the kids in our communities can also do it. And they can do it a lot quicker because they haven't been seasoned the way we've been seasoned.
When you say seasoned, what do you mean?
Well, you know, I grew up, I spent my entire life basically committing crime. They're kids, you know, I mean, maybe a few years. So, if, you know, we're talking about people who have been convicted for the worst crimes. And if we can create programs that can transform their whole thinking and behavior, we can do it to kids. You know, kids, you know, they're looking for something.
Yes.
They're looking for a way out. We're giving them a way out, the way we gave each other a way out, the way we empower each other, because we came out here not weak, not powerless. We came out here with some degree of power, and together we have greater power. We have the power to control our communities and our destiny.
I said it. I said we have to do the work in our communities for the community.
Yes.
And I think sometimes we look at our source, you know, lock them up, like you said, lock them up and throw away the key. It's not for everyone. Some people will they're going to commit crime, right? Then you're going to have some individuals that turn their lives around while they're in prison. Can we give those the opportunity to come out here and do the work? And we need to do work out here. We had a really rough place. Like I said, you know, children started having babies raising babies in the 80s, you know. And so, you know, children have just been raising children for a long time. And You know, you spoke about when you were 9. Me and you were having a conversation. I was 9, and I was, you know, packing bags in a supermarket. I'm a girl packing bags in a supermarket to help my family. At 9 years old, I shouldn't have had to help my family. I should have been like the other kids, having a family-style dinner table and not worry. What were you doing when you were 9?
Well, I was running errands for sex workers. You know,
You see
so
what I mean? It's like we're not children, and you know. I think what I'm trying to tell you all is that we've really got to take our time and think about what's really going on. Children have not been children in so long. Economics, we spoke about economics. That's a huge factor when children have nothing to eat. Somebody offers them a way to eat. What are they going to do to eat? And that is a huge, huge problem in our communities.
our communities are neglected and ignored. The resources are not there in our communities. You know, they don't have, people grow up with very limited opportunities. We can change that. We can change that because we elected these people into a power. We gave them the power over us.
Do you remember years ago when we said, because you know everybody when Trump became the president, everybody's like, oh no, people crying. I'm like, what is, I said, girl, get yourself together. I'm like, look, it's going to be what it's going to be. It's been what it's been, and it's going to be what it's going to be. What are we going to do? Are we going to step up? Look, I started my show on Martin Luther King's birthday, and I simply walked onto the scene and said, I have a dream. And all we got to do is have a dream to do something worthwhile. Let's come together. Back in the day, it says it takes a village to raise a child, right?
Yes.
I'm not an elder. Maybe I am an elder. I'm getting up there now.
You're an elder now.
I'm an elder now. I'm
Yes.
getting up there, right?
Yes.
And I just knew at 9, there should have been better opportunities. And I'm 55. So time is moving and nothing has changed. Nothing is only getting worse.
And y'all talking about 9. That's funny that we all, like my introduction into the criminal life started at 9.
At 9, see? This is
9.
999. I don't know what this is, but
And when you
it's
talk
real.
about, what was that? Karanja Kajufu said destruction of the black boy in the fourth grade. They begin to destroy the black boy's mind, but mine was different. Like one of my classmates got killed by a police officer. Well, this was the witness said that the cops pushed him down the stairs. The cops say he fell down the stairs. So I don't know who was telling the truth, but at that age of 9, whenever cops came around, I didn't want to be around them. Then I'm nervous around them. I got anxiety attacks, you know. So it became, and I wanted to be a police officer prior to that.
Wow.
And then after that, I didn't want to be around them. I had that
Or
fear.
you're afraid of them. You're afraid
Yeah,
of them.
it was now I understand it as fear. Back then, I didn't understand it as a kid. I didn't understand how to process that, but I didn't want to be around them. So it was easy for me to be introduced now from wanting to be a cop to coming into the street life. And I went into the street life at 9 years old because I didn't know how to process that.
At 9 years old, let's talk about your 9 years old, your first negative experience with the police at 9.
I was an errand boy for sex workers, a young Puerto Rican lady. I used to run errands. She throw the money and the list of things she wanted from the local bodega, the grocery store.
So you ran errands for her.
For her.
She was 16. We were talking about this.
She was about 16, 17 years
16,
old.
17, and she was a sex worker.
Yeah.
And you ran to get her groceries for her. You were 9 years old. And
I came back one day, and cops are all in the building, and I got her groceries in my hand, and I seen them grabbing her by her hair. She had long black hair, just her head hitting the stairs. Boom. And she went by me, eyes open, and I froze. I didn't know what to do. You know, that to me, that moment there defined my relationship with policing in my community.
afraid, fear.
Fear.
And so this is a cycle, and it has to change. Like, you know, it's still in all. And as I look back, and you told me, you know, you went to prison, you were incarcerated back and forth until you were 18, and something happened when you were 18, around
Right.
the age of 18.
A group of Puerto Ricans took over a church that my mom's sisters all used to go to, right on Lexington Avenue, a Spanish church. And they just stayed there for about 2 weeks, barricaded themselves in. I was hustling. I was selling dope on the corners. And I was a little upset that they disturbing my business.
You said there was disturbing business.
Yeah, it was because they got cops all over the place trying to figure out what's going on here. I mean, an army of cops. When they finally surrendered, they got hauled off in the wagons to prisons, and then they came back just a few days later. And then we found out that they were called the Young Laws Party. They were trying to get attention to all the injustices in the Puerto Rican community. The garbage wasn't being picked at. Every building was infested by big rats that looked like cats. Rats was biting kids. There was tuberculosis, no medical attention. They had no access to medical attention. So they brought attention to all of this, and the next thing you knew, right down the block, a few blocks down, was Mount Sinai Hospital where I was born. Doctors and nurses, you see them marching from that hospital. They set up a tuberculosis truck there, emergency truck. They was testing everybody for tuberculosis. They were giving children food. Children were going to school hungry. And the attention was all in Spanish Harlem now. And they came, the Young Laws, members of the Young Laws went from door to door talking to us, inviting us to the church. And eventually, me and my little crew of first-generation Puerto Ricans, we became members of the Young Laws Party, and we stopped selling drugs.
Wow. That is, so it can be done. It can be done. What's happening today that we see in the streets where children are joining the gangs, and I think, I just want to see what else is for RAPP. What else are you guys going to do at RAPP? RAPP. And you want to give the acronyms one more time, what it means?
Release aging people in prison, and you could our listeners can go right to our website, rappcampaign.com. That's RAPP campaign.com. And you can learn everything about us. You can learn when our events are scheduled and how to become a member and everything else.
Yeah, I got a new place for you guys to hold meetings at. I don't know, Ali stepped out for a minute, but I was at a beautiful venue the other day, and I know he wants you guys to be able to do some transitional work and have people come in, and he's going to help you guys host that. So,
okay.
So that's the blessing. He came here to tell you that tonight.
Oh, that's most definitely. I just want to add on something he said real quick. I know you're getting close to time. Is that, see those conditions he talked about? We call those conditions crime-genitive factors. These are factors that contribute to people going into criminality. And crime-genitive factors create crime-genitive attitudes. And our whole job, everything we do, set up to do, is to change those attitudes. Because, we know the root cause of crime is that poverty, miseducation, undereducation, unemployment, and the whole gambit of it. And what we do is try to change that dynamics and change it around where people no longer have that crime-genitive attitude. Because when you have a crime-genitive attitude, you no longer see your community as your community. You start saying you're part of the streets, you're part of this life, and you begin to label people. They no longer human beings. Instead of seeing your next-door neighbor as a human being, if he's him or she out there doing whatever, they stick up kids, drug dealers, murderers, whatever. Once you start putting those labels on individuals, you no longer recognize them as a human being. That's why we don't use the term inmates and things of that nature. We say incarcerated people because people are people, they're human beings. And that's what we have to do with the youth, because when I was out there, I didn't recognize my fellow young men engaged in the criminal lifestyle as human beings.
Thank you for getting that message out.
Yes.
And you want to say anything more about that, Jose?
What makes us unique, as a criminal justice organization, is that we realize that we had to fight racist system of injustice that governs us. But we also acknowledge that the same people that are being impacted by this racist legal system, the same communities are also impacted by interpersonal violence, sexual violence, domestic violence. So we address this. In prison, it's not addressed. Not a single program is afforded to us to address the harm that we've committed, to get insight into the harm that we committed. We develop these programs so that we fully can take full responsibility for the harm that we cause, have insight into this harm, and the most important thing, make a commitment to repair harm in our communities.
Can you give me a high five? Can you hold on to me right there? Thank you so much. Can I get a high five? Thank you so much. We're going to be doing some work in the community. It's very important to me. Our kids are lost. We have a, you know, I love my community, and to see them lost, you know, like I said, when it gets to a point where you can no longer even approach to help, then that's a problem. We are losing our children earlier and earlier. Children should not be hungry.
Yes.
That is the economics that you speak about. When you're hungry, what are you willing to do?
You're going to do whatever it takes to eat.
So I think we all understand it, and
Okay.
I hope you all out there understand it. I am so blessed to have Jose in my building, and he is the executive director of RAPP. And also I want to thank Stanley Bellamy, and he is doing so much in the community. He is the New York City regional organizer of RAPP, and they are headed to Albany
Yes.
for Advocacy Day.
Yes.
I'm going to have to remove my other thought. For Advocacy Day, and that day is going to be on, tell them again.
January 28th, Tuesday, next Tuesday, January 28th.
And the buses are leaving from where?
We have buses leaving from Manhattan on 14th Street in Union Square. We have a bus leaving from the Barclays Center, across the street from the Barclays Center, but over there. And we have a bus leaving from the Bronx. I'm not sure if it's 149th or
149th Street.
Yes.
Because I was talking
in
to
Grand
Ali in Grand
Concourse.
Concourse.
Yes.
Okay, now you're going to feed people,
Yes.
and you're going to make sure they're taken care of?
Yes, they will be all right. Just come with us.
Just
Enjoy
come-
the day. And again, like I said, we need to become more civilly engaged. We need to understand the process, because if we sit back and do nothing, these laws, when they pass, they're going to affect us anyway. So we might as well have a say in a role in whatever laws is creating. Because like Hamza said, we elected these officials. So we need to make them not only just get up there and get a paycheck, but actually do the work for the people.
It's an election year.
It's coming
right.
up,
I've
yes.
been saying it a lot this year.
Yeah.
Right now, recently, that it's an election year coming, and this is the best time to actually see if you can get a few things done. And, you know, I don't want to say that things are not being done, not just for the sake of just they don't want to do it. I just feel like it's a lot to be done, and now things have not been done, so now how do we do it? And that's where we have to show, like, let's give them some suggestions on how we can do it. And I think that's very important. Okay, we haven't done it. What are your suggestions on how to do it? And let's do it together.
Yes.
We got to get our communities back together. So until we get to that place, it takes a village. If we all just remember, it takes a village to raise a child. Take a chance, hire somebody. Take a chance, talk to somebody. Take a chance, give somebody a sandwich. You can't think when you're hungry. Feed somebody. I mean, I stop and I do it a lot. You know, I say, okay, I'm going to feed one person today. Every day I can maybe do one person. And it shouldn't be that thought. That's not my responsibility. But if I have to, I'm going to be a village, if I have to, part of the village, to raise or do whatever we have to do in our society and our community. That is what we're supposed to do. So we got to stop with this. We're not going to do this. We're not going to do that. We got to go back to what year would that have been? Took the village to raise a child? What
Way
year is
back.
that? Way back.
Way back.
See?
That go back to African proverbs.
Old African proverb.
Okay, so we're gonna make this commitment. We're gonna work together. So there's an organization called Health People that I'm gonna team you guys up so you can mentor and speak. And they have an amazing Arches program children coming out of, they have probation or, some kind of crime factor somewhere or at risk. We just need to get out and talk at risk. I mean, I might put something together and say, hey, talk to this at-risk group. We have to do our part. And I would love to work with RAPP in the future to do our part in this community. Because you guys said you want to do it, and I want to help you do it. Okay?
Thank you.
And it's a blessing to have you here. Tell them the 2 bills one more time that we're going to, you guys are going to Albany for.
Elder parole bill and the fair and timely parole bill.
When you see your local politicians, tell them about the what bill again?
The elder parole bill and the fair and timely parole bill. Tell them they are to be co-sponsors of these 2 bills or get voted out.
We want more than co-sponsors. We want the bills to pass through committees. We want them to get on the floor for a full up and down vote.
Thank you so much, gentlemen.
Yes.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me on Crossover TV Live. I could have asked you, what did you do? So trust me, I love you guys. I appreciate what you're doing now. I appreciate your contributions to society right now. Yes. And I think that's very important that we look at right now. We are in right now. Yes. So thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank
you for your work in the community. You guys are a blessing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Blessings.
We can
Crossover
eat
TV
chocolate?
Live. Oh yeah, have a gift. Oh, okay, wait. So I do have a gift. Can I present it? It's, I always like to bring a gift up here for my guests. And yesterday I had Dr. Monica Sanchez, and I had the flowers delivered for us because she's 21 years, the Danny Glover Awards, and also the recipient, she does the presidential awards. I received a presidential award, a Danny Glover award, and one more. So I just wanted to, I always do this for my guests. Awards, no awards. And listen, awards are great, but it's not really about the award. It's what you're going to do out there. I just want to see what you're going to do out there. Please do it. And if you do receive all these nice awards, please be a community member and be a role in the community of making change. I love these awards, but let's stand up for what we're supposed to do when you receive community awards, right?
Love chocolate.
All right.
Yeah,
you love chocolate?
Yes,
I didn't know
we're
if I was
addicted to
getting
chocolate.
Y'all addicted to... I bought the right gift. So I do a step program. I don't know if you guys want to do it. Can we do it on TV, guys? Can you I want to stand up and do our diabetes action plan. Mine's is dancing. So hold on. Okay, I don't got no music, so I'm gonna act like I'm cha 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 cha.
Well, he can dance. I can't.
He can dance.
Yeah.
Okay, no, we're just taking steps. Hold on. Okay, so for my diabetes action plan, I don't know. You guys got people that are diabetic. You dancing already?
He's doing the cha cha.
Okay, so this is my Dr. Dre told me to do this. He said, you can't do this in your high heels? I said, okay. So I got some shoes on it, not as high as my other shoes. So Dr. Dre, I'm doing the steps. So Dr. Dre from Yo MTV Raps has been working with us for our diabetes. We've been doing this big campaign. So I'm doing it. Hold on. Y'all ready?
Yeah, I want to see
Okay,
it.
we don't got no music.
We're going to see it. Let's go.
Let's go. So my thing is dancing. So I'm dancing. So simply, and then you just raise your legs. So raise your legs.
Oh, we doing Mary J?
Mary. All right, Mary. Whatever. Yeah. I like Jonathan McReynolds. So Jonathan McReynolds he does gospel, and so I'm into gospel stuff. I love God. I love the Lord, and the higher power. And because we have a lot to do, and if you don't know your higher power, you're going to be in big trouble. So these are our steps, and I actually took my steps, and you can throw a little arm movement in it. You could just go here and just step and just step. And this is my action plan. And my guests from RAPP are joining me to do my action plan, which is dancing. I'm dancing. I'm
doing Mary J. Kick.
Oh, we're a little off. We're a little off.
Mary J. Kick.
But I love you guys at RAPP. And don't forget to tell the folks one more time your website. What's your website? While I do my
RAPP Campaign.com.
Okay, so everybody, thank you for joining us, and I hope you're doing this at home. Because if you're not doing this at home, I'm gonna be sad. Oh my goodness! All right, so we're doing these exercises. Help people. I love you doing great things. Don't forget they have some amazing program. They have arches. They have the diabetes DSMP. They have the DPP acronyms. All right. So diabetes self-management program, and then the diabetes prevention program. So we could go into prison, and actually we go into shelters. I love this,
Sure.
and we can do all kind of things. Okay. So I want to give a big shout out for people for years, health people, the executive director, Chris Norwood. Thank you so much for doing what you do, and all the folks over there at Health People. So thank you, Health People. I went through their program and I lost 63 pounds, okay? So thank you so much for making life better, okay? So now we're going to be doing a big, I don't know if I could talk about this. I'm going to follow them around. They have a location in Brooklyn. And as Crossover TV, I will be going out to a big event. I can't tell you yet, guys, but I will tell you because I can't keep a secret, right? I can't keep a secret, right? All right. So anyway, join RAPP, and they're going to be going out. Is it Tuesday, right?
Tuesday, January 28th.
All right. So you guys stop dancing. You stop stepping.
Oh, my
What's
knees
going
hurt.
on?
My
Your knees?
knees is done.
All right. So I'm still stepping. I want to step out until we leave. And thank you guys for joining me. I want to say thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your candy. Yes. I can't eat none of this. I'm sharing this with the crew. This is for my crew right here. And I love you guys at BronxNet. I love you guys out there. And if you are diabetic, oh my God, I just want you to one step at a time. Oh, I'm still stepping. One step at a time, one day at a time. Just get up after you eat. Just do a couple of these, okay, guys? So here we go. Just a couple of these, and you'll be good to go. And then you can throw in the stretch. And Dr. Dre, thank you for making me do this. So Dr. Dre does the 30 steps, and we did the mayor's steps of City Hall recently. So now I'm going to close out and tell you to support RAPP. And this is an amazing organization. Yeah, I'm finished stepping, guys. I'm finished stepping. But thank you guys for joining us on Crossover TV. It's my 22nd anniversary. We're probably going to close out with the slideshow. But don't forget, support RAPP. And the two bills, one more time.
The Elder Bill and the Fair and Timely Parole Bill.
Thank you, guys. Love you guys. Crossover TV. I'll see you next week.